We're going to show you a couple ways to make an alien. So first thing I can do is after I load a picture, obviously I need a face of a person. I can then come in to distort over here, and I can pinch and bulge, or I can stretch and squish. So in this case, maybe I want to go ahead and just go pinch. I can take the eyes and I can see how it's going to look here and choose how I want it. So, like here, now all of a sudden it starts to look a little bit better with the eyes. I can then see maybe a little bit more. And if I want to, make it bigger or smaller in my circle, I can go up here. And so maybe now I can come in and make this a little bit smaller too, so it looks a little bit more real. Then when I'm done, I can come over, maybe bulge, or maybe if I just want to stretch a little bit up and down, I can take this one's called stretch, and I have to keep this on the picture, but I can make his head go up a little bit more. Click up here a few times and you can see how I get my distorted little alien look. I can even go up here and move this eyebrow just a little bit there. Take this one, there we go, right there. And so you can see how I can get the alien look right there. So when I'm done with distort up here, which is bulge, pinch, and stretch, I probably don't want to do any twirling. It'll make it not look real. Then what I need to do is I need to take care of the color. And there are 2 or 3 ways to do this. The easiest way is, I believe, just to take the decorate, come into the draw, change your color, go ahead and grab green, and you can draw this way. And, you'll cover things up, but you could go around it. That's probably the worst way to do it, being able to draw. One of the other ways, if you come over to basic, sometimes if you go to adjust right here, you can come over to the hue and the saturation, and this will then, and you can see here I can change my color, and this actually looks pretty good in this case. I can choose, if I go a little bit too far, it turns it more bluish. If I go this way, it goes to that red and the bluish on the opposite end. And I probably don't want this. The only problem with this right here is you can see it colors their hair. But this is a quick way to do it. So if you were running out of time, certain pictures, especially since this is all gray, it's only going to change the skin tone in this case. But if you had other colors that were the same as the skin over here, it would change those green too, and that would, in that case, be not ideal. So I'm actually gonna mess with my saturation. Oh yeah, see, there you go. See, I can get it a little bit lighter or a little bit darker. And then you can see how it's a little bit less there, but it certainly turns it in. So in this case, if I were to hit done, this is what it would be like, but the hair is going to be there. So I'm actually going to undo this here. And again, that was basic over here to adjust. And so you can go to the hue and the saturation and move it just up a little bit, and you can get the green, greenish blue, and then you can make it. That's probably a little too much. There you go. A little bit of the hue and the saturation. And if you wanted to make it lighter, the whole picture a little bit darker or lighter. But in this case, we don't really want to mess with that. So that's, to me, the easiest way to do it. It's quick and easy, and you can change it. The hard one is the Geek. And we haven't done anything on the Geek, but they have Smart Recolor right here. Now, there's a couple of things I want you to understand is, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Oops. I want to do Smart Recolor here. So we're going to view the original here, and in this case, I'm going to turn them to a pink. I'm going to turn them to like a magenta. So when I color, it's not going to be magenta, it's going to be green, but that's okay because the green tells me this is what it's going to change, and then I'm going to put over here to keep, and this is going to make it red. So no matter what I color, it's going to make it red or green, but even though it makes it red or green, you're only telling the computer what it's going to keep and what it's going to not change. So, in this case, anything red, it's not going to change anything. So if this case, if you remember in the previous one, we had the hair. So in this case, I'm going to go up around here like this, and I'm going to protect that hair a little bit, and go around, and then I'm going to protect all of this from changing. I don't want anything over here to change color, because if I don't color this, and I can make this quicker by coming over to the brush size and making it really big. And so when I come up over here, it makes it really easy to brush. Now I want to brush everything except for the skin color. So in this case, you can see it's quite hard. So I'm going to start zooming in now. And now I'm going to come back to recolor. I want to make my brush a little bit smaller. And we're going to go ahead and come in and do a little bit here. And this takes a little bit longer. So this is somewhat accurate, but it takes a lot longer to do. So I have to protect the hair there. I'm actually just going to try my best to go ahead and do the rest of the body here. And you have to go back and forth. And I don't know if you guys have enough time for this. And this is always the tough one. Because if you're a perfectionist, you can take a long time doing this. And so you want to be accurate. And I can then go in and make my brush a little bit bigger. So if you're quiet and you're working, you can get done with this. If you're going to talk, then it makes it a little bit harder. So I'm going to take my brush size now, make it a little bit smaller, and you can see this hair here. I'm going to say keep it. And then I'm going to come up here to his tank top and say keep it. And if I'm inaccurate in any of this, it's going to show up. And I'll come over and do just this little bit there. And we will have, well, that's a little bit of his shoulder. So let's come over here and do, oops, I got to change to recolor. So in this case, it's not going to be a green alien. And I know we're painting in green, but it's not going to be a green alien. It's going to end up being this pink alien. If I wanted green, I'd just come over here and choose green. But some other classes have been confused. They're coloring in pink, and they're like, Mr. Posey, it's turning it green. The green only shows what it's going to change. So anything red, it's not going to change. Anything green, it's going to change. Now, if you want, I have some areas here left unknown. You can predict them. So the computer will go through, and it will predict these unknown areas. And it will, oh, there it goes. So you can see here how I've changed it, but you see the little mess up. So, but it didn't change the hair. So I went in and I cut. So I've just got to do a better job of kind of cutting through. So if I click OK in this case, and if it comes back, hopefully it shows it. So you can see in this case, it didn't quite do it perfectly, but you can see where I missed out on parts of the faces, but it also didn't do the ears, or the hair in this case. So if you're really, really accurate, then come over here to Geek, come over to Smart Recolor, paint whatever you want green to change the rest red, and then if you click OK, it will just change to the color that you picked. So again, this is the more accurate one, but it takes a whole lot longer to do. Sometimes what I like to do is just take my brush size and paint everything red first, so that you're going to keep everything, and then you just come in and take care of just the parts you want with the green. So if you recolor, choose the color you want. And then in this case, you can see here, I can change my brush. Now I can come in and I can change just the color that I want. So that's, to me, the easiest way to do it. But you can see here, if you forget spots, then it messes it up. So there are 3 ways. You can come over here to Basic and go to Adjust and mess with the hue and saturation. You can come over to Decorate, which is the draw. This one, again, you guys are going to have to be accurate, but you can see here you could do it to his face, but it's not going to look the best. And I wouldn't suggest you do that. The best one is Smart Recolor, but it takes the most time in order to do it. So that's what you're going to work on today. Don't forget, when you leave, you're going to need to have the picture close to being done, or you're going to need it done. You're going to need to have it saved. And so this is one of those that if you don't get it saved, then when you come back again, it's not actually going to work. So whatever you get started today, you got to hurry up and get done. Thanks.